Man, I was having a riveting conversation today with one of my coworkers about humans and the condition that we live in and where we're at in the world and like what's okay, what's not okay. And something I've always advocated for a very long time is just the betterment of the human race across the board. And people's opinions and beliefs sometimes get in the way of progress. Other times boost it, hinder it. I mean, people are complicated and society is hard to have everybody's desires be achieved. If you know me, you know that I am not the proudest of what happens in the world, specifically in our nation. But I always think, what can I do to do my part? What can I do to help move the things forward that I want to be moving forward? And part of that is just having meaningful conversations, trying to show people different perspectives, trying to boost our critical thinking instead of just accepting rhetoric, to erode the things that we grew up familiar with so we can make our own decisions. A lot of the things that are accepted or not are based off of our environment, what we find to be okay, what we're comfortable with, totally based on our upbringing and where we're from. Hailing from the Midwest, drinking is super common, right? In a lot of places, all there is to do is hunt, drink, and go to church. That's it. And the amount of alcohol consumed to somebody that hasn't been around it much would be considered a problem. I know it was for me. I went through a time where this is how we drink. And then somebody pointed it out that, hey, do you think you have a problem? And I never really thought about it before. And after looking up all the things with it, I certainly did. And that was a perfect example of somebody having a gentle conversation that changed my perspective into a way of looking at things differently that sparked good and positive change in my life. And when we look at our nation as a whole and our communities and our society, it's those conversations that have to take place. It's asking hard questions sometimes. It's asking why very often, not getting angry at people's responses or answers, but just seeking to understand. If we can understand somebody's position, we can do a much better job at informing them of the opposite or something different or something more truthful. Not everybody has to agree with everybody. Not everybody has to agree with the things that I say, that you say, but getting angry and going into levels of extremism is what causes overcorrections. It's what causes a lot of divisiveness. When there's more acceptance in the middle ground, the extremes don't take such a foothold, and extremism in any sense has never been good. At times it has to get that way, but like things pushed it to get that far. We think about countries going to war or civil wars, right? Like things got so bad, so crazy that we had to have this happen. There was a lot of decisions made up to that point that could have changed things for the better. When that extremism takes place, it is ultimately best to try to understand what could have been done differently before and try to reach a compromise before it even happens. And as we move through life and people are doing their things and going about their day-to-day and making decisions and following their beliefs, if we notice that other people are going down these extreme roads, we have to call that out. We have to point out the dangers of what that path entails. Because it's rarely ever good. If somebody were to tell you, hey, I can't hang out today, I have more pressing matters than our time that we were going to spend, and then you go and break their windshield or something over it, like that's out of hand. It sure got a message across that you're angry, but what did it do other than that? It probably caused more trouble. So all that being said, if we just take the time to let go of some of our preconceived notions, some of our beliefs we've had since childhood, and start doing some exploring on our own and seeking truth and seeking to understand, having those meaningful conversations and steering people away from extremes, we have a much better shot at having a more holistic society, having better communities, having better friendships, and being able to interact with people that are strangers in a way that's comfortable and meaningful. All that I ever ask out of anybody that I ever talk to or get into it with is that let's respect each other and try to understand each other as best as we can so we can both leave here learning something. If somebody leaves a winner, nobody won. Period. Nobody won there. You might have got a boost to your confidence or your ego. All you did was make somebody else angry and hate your views, right? Let's both win. But anyways, go out, have some meaningful conversations, think about things that you've believed forever, and do some truth seeking on them and see what happens. Anyways, love y'all. See you next time.